You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee. I don't know where the hell DJ Envy is. He might be walking in here in any minute, but we got a legend in the building. Luther Campbell, Uncle Luke, what's happening, my brother?
I'm good, man. What about yourself?
I'm blessed, man.
All right.
You a leader of men out here.
Hey, I'm trying to be.
Leader of people, not just men, but everybody.
Well, I mean, with the Warriors of Liberty City, man, you're responsible for a lot of successful brothers out here.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, it started the program 29 years ago with me and my other co-founder, Coach Sam. When we started, we didn't think that it would be around for 29 years, but, we're just happy, of all the kids and all the people that came out of the program, especially the ones who are now adults, the ones who are doing great things in the community as well as around the world.
Let's talk about the program for people that aren't informed about what the program is, what it does, and why you started it and so passionate about it.
Well, I mean, we started, like I say, 29 years ago, and I was bused to South Beach to play organized football, sports, and when I got to South Beach, 29 years ago, before that, blacks had to be off the beach after 6 o'clock. If you didn't, if you weren't white, you'll go to jail. So I didn't want no other kids to have to go through that. So I started the program. In my community, I said to myself, when I get 2 cents over my lunch money, I'll start get my mom a house, but then start a youth football program where kids don't have to be subjected to that.
I read that in your book. How did that make y'all feel, being black and being told that y'all can't be here after 6 p.m.?
Oh, that was rough. I mean, unfortunately, that was the only way we could play organized sports. Because there wasn't any in my neighborhood. It was rough.
There was never no rebellion against them white people?
We just left as kids. You don't really think about it. You just go over there, you go have fun, you go play, and the coaches and everybody that's involved, they take care of you. You end up coming back home.
And your parents are probably like, don't you get out there and get in trouble. Like, come home like you're supposed to.
Yeah, and I always stayed in trouble.
What I love about watching this docuseries, The Warriors of Liberty City, it's a 6-part docuseries.
Yes.
Is that you get to see a lot of what goes on behind the scenes. Because it is true, a lot of times these kids are coming into school, they're coming into their athletics, and they have all kinds of baggage that's going on at home that we don't even know about. Like you might see a student acting out, and you're like, okay, it's not just because a kid is bad.
Right.
It's because there's a lot of factors that are playing into that at home that might make them feel hurt.
Right. I mean, as a coach, once my career kind of died down, I started going back out and coaching. And that was one of the first things that you notice, with a kid, when a kid is not functioning right and doing the right things, you as a coach, you'll know it's something seriously going on at home, why that kid is not happy today or doing the right thing. And with this docuseries, what we did, unlike any other thing, you see these blindside stories where some white person come and grab a black kid like a Scottie Pippen, move him to the suburbs, and they just saved his life.
Yeah.
We wanted to show these black men, black men.
Black side.
Black men and the things that these kids have to go through at home and the things that the kids have to go through when one of the other kids is shot by a drive-by, which you see in the docuseries. Right. One of the little football players, he's shot, and how those kids have to function, and the parents as well as the volunteers.
Or if your father's in jail.
Or if your father, we have all that. I mean, this show, this is real Miami. I don't know what y'all been seeing on TV, whether it's
Love and Hip Hop Miami.
Oh, that's not Miami.
Yeah.
And all these other shows. I mean, we finally get to let people see what Miami is all about. Grills in the mouth, all that. The real side, and so you get to see that. You get to see those difficult times that those parents have to go through, and everything that happened along the way of shooting it. I mean, it just seemed like it was ordained because you have a hurricane. Hurricane hit. You don't know what a parent has to go through when she can't go to work because the lights are off. And you see those situations in the docuseries, and like that camera is inside the room, and some real tragic situations that happen.
Do you think Miami's been documented right over the years?
No.
Not at all.
No, especially right now. You know what I'm saying? Especially right now. I love, what Barry Jenkins did in Moonlight. Right. But unfortunately, for a lot of people in Miami, we don't we don't never see that side, but we know that exists. You know, when you look at Love and Hip Hop and all those kind of shows, that ain't us.
It's a lot
You know
of
what
people
I'm
not
saying?
even from Miami.
Yeah. That's not us. We don't function like that on a daily basis. You don't see that every day. You know what I'm saying? I love Trick Daddy, I love Trina, but the rest of those people, that ain't us. You know, so with this docuseries, you get to see us plus more, you know, in a real way.
And I was watching Robert. That really made me teary-eyed. Like, he was 13 years old, and he talks about how all the other kids' dads are coming to see them play sports, and his dad isn't there, and he gets angry about it.
Yeah.
And parents have to think about that. Like, his dad is in and out of jail, and how is that affecting my son and how he's growing up and the anger issues he's having and feeling like left out and not having his father.
Right. And those and that's what we tried to do. We tried to document those backstories.
He was so candid about it. Just
Yeah.
able to really express himself.
Yeah, you normally see shows where you see the overlay, good football player, great football player came out of the program, but you don't see that parent, that mother sitting there trying to be able to cope with her son, you know, and we show that. I mean, you can't script that when the dad is in a federal penitentiary, and unfortunately at that time we're in there shooting this kid and interviewing him, and now the dad calls up, you know, and from a federal penitentiary, you know, and he's talking to him about the dad still trying to be a dad, even in that situation. And the kid just, you know, rebelling in some situations because his dad is not there. And that, you don't normally see those kind of stories.
You got LeBron James as the EP. Is that a relationship that got established when he was playing in Miami?
Yeah. You know, Maverick and LeBron and them, you know, we met on a few occasions, and, you know, with him having kids and his kids running around hanging out with the same kids from the program in an area, you know, it made it much more sense because he understood, you know, how important football is in Miami.
And what I saw in the beginning of the first episode too was the NFL players that come from Florida, right? There's a large majority of NFL players. What about Florida, you think, that is just breeding these NFL players?
Well, it's more Miami.
Miami.
Miami. I mean, we have at our program, we probably have about 25 NFL stars right now, and in the 5 square miles away from the park, we have more NFL players than any other city in the United States of America.
Wow.
And it's just that you can only equate it to Chinese gymnastics. The kids start at 4 years old. It's very, very competitive. It's under no circumstances. It's not cookie cutter or recreational football. It's tough, and that's what you'll see in this documentary, how tough it really is.
Why you ain't never opened a sports agency, man?
My wife actually is an agent, you know.
Okay.
She represents Duke Johnson, Devontae Freeman, 2 guys that you see on the docuseries, and she would have represented more. But unfortunately, a lot of these other kids, you know, go in a different direction. I mean, people always say it the same thing. Why you don't have a sports agency? I never wanted to get into it. You know, fortunately, you know, she's a lawyer, and we talked about it because a lot of kids come back broke, you know, and through this same situation right here, when you look at the docuseries and you see why kids go to college, and then the little agent comes by, the little runner, and he gives the kid the money, and they say, well, why these kids are taking this money? Because they got to send the money back home because mom and dad's getting ready to get throwed out.
Right.
You know, and now they're on the hook with some of these unscrupulous agents who are not educating them on how to take care of your money. And so, unfortunately, we're able to help the ones that want to be helped. You know, it ain't like it's like a boutique. Either you come or you don't. Ain't nobody running around after no player, you know, like some of these other guys are doing.
How important is it to instill in these kids that when y'all do make it to the NFL, bring it back to your city, bring it back to your community?
It's very important. I mean, you know, like with Duke and Devontae, you know, that's the first thing they do. They're back on the park. You know, they're back in the building. You know, instead of lifting weights at some beautiful facility, you know, are working out in the off season, you see them right out there with those kids. And that's very, very inspiring because those kids get to see them on TV every Sunday and they look up to them. But, you know, for them to be able to have a relationship with them is very, very important.
I feel like you're more passionate about this than you were about music.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I mean, this saves lives.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Music, you know, in music, you know, I get to save some lives. You know, a Trick Daddy will be in jail, and I'll discover him and help his life out and put him on. And Pitbull is out there, you know, selling drugs, and get him and, tell him, hey, look, this is your gift, change your life. And you see, we change lives in the music industry, but at the same time, this changing lives on a massive scale, and I love it. I mean, that's what we set out to do, and we're doing it.
Did it make it easy for you to transition from music as you got older? Like, you know what, I'm good with. I don't
And
gotta
I always
put out
felt like
no
you
more
were going to
albums.
be a politician also.
Well, a large part of it, you got to be a politician,
Right.
to be able to run a youth program of this size. 450 kids, 100 and some volunteers, and you running it on a year-round basis. You got to be able to go and have a conversation with elected officials. Fortunately, one of our elected officials came through the program, Keon Hardeman. He came up in the program, so he understands what goes on, and a lot of other elected officials in the area. But you have to be involved in politics to be able to get your taxpaying dollars to go where you need it to go.
Right.
See, and a lot of people don't realize that it ain't about what you pull out your pocket. You guys in here make tons of money, and you pay tons of taxes, especially here in New York.
Lord
and
have
it's,
mercy.
And it's, hey, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, no, I want my money to go here. Unfortunately, a lot of times we don't look at it like that, and I look at it like that. And then I mobilize people to vote. And when I mobilize people to vote, if you ain't spending money in the black community in Miami, then you're going to eventually get voted out.
Damn.
So now I see you're on Team Andrew Gillum because your candidate didn't actually beat Andrew Gillum.
Why didn't
So
you
have
support Andrew from the beginning, Uncle Luke?
Why? My friend is Philip Levine. You know what I'm saying? It's the obvious is, okay, you support the brother. You know what I'm saying? I don't know Andrew.
Oh, okay,
I know
okay.
Philip. Philip was the mayor of Miami Beach. Me and Philip had a relationship before he became the mayor, and so it became it was rough for me. It was rough for me, but at the same time, I'm like, I got a lot of white friends and I got a lot of black friends. So if my white friend, if he supports some other white guy that he don't know, you know what I'm saying, and me and him friends, I know his son, I know his wife know my son, so do I support somebody that I don't know because of the color of their skin? And then I just, it bothered me for a little while, but I was like, no, I gotta be real about this. This guy's not my friend. This guy's my friend. I want Andrew to do well. You know what I'm saying? But this guy's my genuine friend. Now, if I didn't know him, I'm Team Gillum.
Politics-wise, you believed in what it was that he had
Yeah,
done.
politics, because at the same time, South Beach, you go through a lot of things, and there were a lot of times, whether it's Memorial Day weekend or any other time, that I had to go over there and have a conversation with Philip. And Philip was open, and Philip jumped on commissioners when they made racial statements about African Americans. Philip, he did, employ more African American police and did a lot of things for the community as far as blacks when it's concerned on South Beach. Knowing what I know, as a kid, had to be off the beach to see how he moved the needle. It was like, okay, I know this guy and he's doing good things and all this, and do I not support him because he's not black? And so it was real hard, but I'm Team Gillum right now. My man gotta win.
You
He
think
gotta
gonna
win.
Think he gonna win?
I think he's gonna win.
Yeah.
Have you scheduled that sit down yet with Andrew Gillum?
Nah, not really. Not really.
That's easy, man.
Yeah.
Make that happen. 1, 2, 3. Ain't number the text.
Yeah.
Uncle Luke, I got that.
It don't. I don't really need to. That don't even need to happen. Like I gotta have a conversation with. It's just a no-brainer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sending my check. I'm telling everybody else send their check because that's that's what it's all about when you're really supporting. And I urge everybody around the country send a check because the man gonna need as much money. He's gonna need the money. The votes are one thing. When you're dealing in politics, the person who spends the money on the politician gets to tell the politician what to do. Unfortunately, you have a lot of African American politicians, like even in my city, they're black, but they don't do nothing for black people.
Right.
They do for everybody else but black because those people put the money in their campaign.
Well, people are paying for their interests.
Exactly, yeah, because it's like, and that's the problem with that's the part of politics that a lot of people don't understand. It's about that money, and one day, hopefully, we all as entertainers, African American, we can get our money and put it in a PAC, and then we could all, spend. Oh, we're gonna put money in this campaign. New York mayor, you're gonna do the right thing for the black people in New York. Okay, we put the money on him, and that's what politics is all about. And I try to educate people on that process.
Were you ever torn about supporting the NFL with everything that happened with Colin Kaepernick?
I'm, the NFL is obviously a slave mentality. The owners, they're confused as to what they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? When you look at it, they're in all these liberal cities. You would think they would have a liberal mindset, unlike the NCAA. NCAA, they're in the backwoods where, next to a Cracker Barrel, so they can, they can act racist, in the NCAA. But then when it comes to the NFL, they're in liberal cities. They're in blue cities. Mm-hmm. So you would think that they would think, more down the lines of the players. But then at the same time, they're looking at the bottom line, which is bad because, a lot of those, they're not supporting their players the way they should support them. And I just have a real problem with that. They can't figure it out. And then when you have, racist owners like, Jerry Jones and some of these other people, then you got Kraft running up the Meek Mill's jailhouse. And I'm like, come on, man. That's all BS. What are you doing? You're trying to save your brand in one of the most racist cities, Boston, in America.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a Cowboy fan.
Me too. Me too.
I thought you was a Dolphin fan.
No,
he's always been a Cowboys fan.
Diehard
But
Cowboy
so doesn't
fan.
that hurt you sometimes when you're like, man,
Hurts
here
me
I
all the
am,
time.
a Cowboys fan. What am I supposed to do?
It hurt. It kills me. I'm like, bring back Tex Stram. Bring back Tom Landry. Jesus Christ, why does this guy buy why does this guy buy the team? That's the worst.
I blame it on my daddy, though. I'm like, look, man, it's in my blood. My daddy was a Cowboy fan. He put it on me. What you want me to do? Just been a Cowboy fan my whole life.
Because
I don't give a damn about Jerry Jones. I'm a Cowboy
He's
fan.
like the worst one out of all of them.
Jerry Jones?
I mean, just publicly, like the things that I've heard him
he's
say
horrible.
He's
horrible.
Crazy.
You ever think about it? He gets all the players with sketchy backgrounds, so those players don't have they don't get no money, no sponsorship money. Mm-hmm. Everybody has a sketchy background that's on his team. If you rob somebody, you can play for the Cowboys.
And easier to control.
It's easy to control. So that's why when Dez Bryant turns into a smart, intelligent black man, then he loses his mind. Oh, you got a different agent? Oh, you don't supposed to do that. I was like, okay, Dez Bryant is gone.
Yep, you got Rock Nation. You're getting represented by black people now.
Represented by black people. I can't control that. You got to go. As a matter of fact, I'm going to blackball you out the NFL because you turned into a black man.
Yeah, it hurts my heart that Dez not on no NFL team.
That's crazy.
I doubt Dez Bryant not playing this shit.
That's crazy.
Y'all might have to switch teams, man.
They treat him like he took a knee.
Right? I know, right?
Who's second for you then?
Well, Jerry got to die one day.
If this doesn't work out, who's second?
I guess the Falcons.
You ain't going to never rep the Dolphins?
The Dolphins. I love the Dolphins. Now, the president's my man. I love Garfinkel. I love some of the people there, and they do great things in the community. But I never was a Dolphin fan, unfortunately. It just, when they, because I'm old school.
Yeah.
I'm in my 50s. When they used to run Mercury Mars down the field and then let the white guy Jim Kick and Larry Zonka go in. And how they did Paul Warfield back then. I still got that in me, but those guys, I'm moving a little bit over. I want them to do good.
I saw you talking about starting our own league, potentially.
Yeah.
You think that's something that could happen like sometime soon?
I think it could happen. I mean, especially right now. I think I think you got to start off about 8 teams. You get a few billionaires. It's almost like how I look at NCAA football. I just think African American historical black schools should just get out of the NCAA, create your own NCAA in the with historical black colleges and just play like that. Pay some of the players. Get your own TV contracts. Not be subjected to that because you don't see black colleges do bowl games, which is where everybody they just treat black colleges so bad. And then same thing. You can start your own NFL league. I think it's real simple. I had a couple models and talked to a couple people, and I think it can happen.
Right.
So what's the update on the 2 Live Crew biopic, man?
Well, I just did a deal with Lionsgate, who obviously owns Stars, and we're right now we're we probably 2 drafts into the actual script.
I cannot wait.
It's got to be X-rated, man.
that.
Like it can't be no fluff at all.
So you want the nakedness?
It got to be.
I think no, hold on. I don't know about that, but maybe there could be an uncut version.
Exactly.
Man, it
Because
gotta
we need to be able to have
No,
the
right?
masses be able to see.
Y'all
it.
don't realize it. I literally was telling somebody this week. Uncle Luke is the reason they have parental advisory stickers on CDs.
Yeah, we were talking about that
so
in the
how
class.
could it not
I
be
taught
raw?
at Dillard.
You're right, and that's why I was struggling with the script.
But hey, parental advisory is still rated R.
And they're probably telling you, in this era with this climate that you can't show women like this. But that was that era.
Yeah, but now we're in the Me Too
Lord have
movement.
mercy.
Me Too. We're in the Me Too movement, so you gotta slow down.
Lord have mercy.
It's like, oh man,
But what's crazy is you never hear no stories like the perception of what you would be like in real life is not like what you really are like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you always been just a real chill, cool person, never trying to take, like we've never heard no stories about you doing anything out of pocket.
Well, I was a little hustler in my days when I was a kid, and I always rule number 1: never get high on your own supply.
Mm-hmm. But
You
even
know?
just treatment of women.
Yeah. No. I mean, all the girls, even the girls that traveled with me, we always treated all the girls top of the line, whether they were strippers or whether they were porn stars, if that's what they wanted to do. I mean, I never got into that.
Somebody said something crazy about me on Twitter one day, and you responded, and I appreciated it.
I'm gonna cuss people out when they bother with you.
They
you
said
my girl
something
from
like,
way back in the days.
They were like, Angela done fucked everybody, da-da-da-da-da, and then they named Luke. And he was like, first of all, Angela has always been a professional and all of that, and that absolutely has never happened. Like, you went in on them, and I was like, I appreciate somebody saying something positive.
Yeah, well, I'm loyal. I mean, when you know a person for so many years, like I know you, when you was just doing little reporting and all that. I mean, you ain't never come off like that.
Right.
You ain't never had that kind of reputation, and so if somebody holler at you like that in that way, then I'll jump on him and jump out there real quick.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
No doubt.
And don't do the 2 Live Crew movie if they're not going to let you do it the way it need to be done. You know why I hate?
Because you want the nakedness.
Yes, because you know why? Because when white people want to tell a story about slavery, they don't mince that. You know
You're
what I
right
mean?
about
They
that.
give it to you raw. They
But
show
you know, I
women
think
getting
rated-
raped, men getting hung.
But
You know
rated
what I'm
X
saying?
just
Yeah,
kind
you're
of
right.
limits the amount of people that can see it and where it can go. That's why
I ain't say
think-
rated triple X, but rated R. Like,
No, definitely rated R.
No, definitely rated
I
R.
thought he wanted rated X over here. I was
thought
like,
you
you
wanted
can't
X.
do
I
that.
mean,
Yeah, that's what it was seeming like.
I want to see the real
Yeah.
life situation, how it went down, though.
So you want to see the part when the girl, jumped out the
On
van and
stage.
went to the desk at the hotel and she
All
was
that.
naked and asked for our room.
I read the book, all that.
Oh, you want all that? Okay, well we'll be back in. We'll be
Do
back in the script.
any of these women ever had sons in the league or playing for the Warriors?
Yeah, most
Warriors
of them.
of Liberty City?
Most of
Really?
them. Yeah, most of them. Most of them.
That's
Yeah. You get to see who's who on the Diaper Boys. I mean, the Diaper Boys are 4 and 5, so you get to see some things like, oh, okay. I didn't know you had a son playing football.
all right. Perfect.
All right, we'll drop him off. We know you got to go check in at the strip club.
And damn, he look like me.
Whoa.
You know what else is crazy? I realized like a lot of artists from Miami didn't have that Luke sound for a while. And like I got recently put on to the City Girls, and I really like the City Girls because they remind me of that old Miami sound. That Luke, that old Trina, that.
Yeah, no doubt about that. That's why I like them. Because so many people, they started doing music. They went away from what we do, and we lost our identity for so long. When we had our identity, you had bass music, just expand on it, and keep the party going. But then everybody wanted to be, international for a little period of time. And just like you say, that the music don't go away.
Right.
Those kids in the neighborhood and in Miami, they still listen to the same thing, whether they get it on underground radio or not. So when you see a group like City Girls come around, that was a good thing.
All right.
Emotionally, how is it for you dealing with these kids who, they're bringing a lot of baggage, and sometimes you have to feel like, I just want to take care of everybody. But then at certain times you kind of have to, I guess, be more numb to certain things?
It's difficult, but at the same time, when you're dealing with little boys and, our girl, our lady, ambassadors, cheerleader coaches, they do a great job with the girls. as well. But when it comes to the boys, you know the situation. Like I coach high school football at the school, Miami Edison, and we have a lot of kids, whether they come out of my program or other places, they're in some difficult situations. And that's why it was important to do this docuseries because, when you go to a house and you got, 8 people in the house and a bed in the living room, and kids are coming in like, I don't have any food. Are they in abusive situation? I got kids, that did make it to the league that mothers, had to sleep in a car, at the park. These are some real deep
and I'm
issues.
sure you want to help everybody.
You want to help everybody, but the best thing that anybody could do, whether you're affiliated with a park or anything like that, the best thing you do is give them some knowledge. Like Devontae Freeman, he was with me since he was like 8 years old, a part of the program. So it's like almost my adopted son. Just giving him knowledge. He's living in the Poke and Bean projects, Scott, the Liberty Square Housing projects. He has 4 or 5 brothers and sisters in the house. But then he wants better for himself. They can go home to it, but then if you inspire them to be better, if they listen, the ones who listen, they get themselves out of those situations.
Have those artists that were coming to Miami that you called out before, have they started giving back to the city more?
No, they just don't come back. Khaled does. Khaled gives back. Khaled does a good job. I had to call him out too.
Yeah.
That's my boy. But at the same time, a lot of them, like Ross gives back. He's from Miami, right. But then for the most part, all those other ones who became settlers of Miami, they eventually faded off, went away, went and settled somewhere else.
So we're gonna see you as mayor soon?
I don't know. Hey, after I finish a couple of these projects that I'm doing, I'll probably end up, jumping back into politics.
Well, you let us know.
Oh, okay, good. Y'all got Gillum elected. Y'all did. I'm telling you, y'all did a hell of a job with that.
Well, thank you.
Y'all did. I'm telling you, I think when he came to this show, no, seriously, I'm serious. Because even in the state of Florida, he wasn't getting that much love, from a statewide perspective.
And he had nowhere near as much money to spend.
No, none. And so when I saw him appear on this show right here, you know what I'm saying, and how he came across, because sometimes, you have a lot of people that runs and they're cornballs. But when I saw him sit on the show, knowing I know he went to FAM and I know some of his friends, it took him over the top. This show energized African Americans in the state of Florida to go out and seriously vote for him, and I commend y'all for that.
But
because his message was
you too when you're mayor.
Well, hey.
Oh, we definitely gonna do that.
Oh my God.
Because I'm the same way with you when it comes to politicians. Like if I gotta know you, and like my good friend Angela Rye turned me on to Andrew, and I'm like, well, this is a brother right here. Like people need to hear from him. So
y'all definitely pushed him over the top. I'm telling you, you woke up every African American that had an Obama, voter's registration card. And that's what I tell people. Obama got all us to vote, but then there's a lot of us not using the card. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of hip hoppers, nah, he's a cornball, we ain't messing with him. But then when you come on a show like this, and y'all allow him to come on this platform and have a serious conversation with him, then all those, all the smokers with the cards who got the card, oh, okay. All right, no, he's cool.
That's funny you say that. My man Sam Sneak from Miami, Sam was like, man, I got to find my voter registration card, man.
Yeah. We got somebody to vote for. Yeah.
Well, make sure you guys check out Warriors of Liberty City. That actually debuts Sunday. It's on every Sunday. It's a 6-part series on Stars. So we'll be watching for that. We'll be waiting to hear more about this movie.
This Sunday?
Yeah.
This Sunday.
Okay. Where?
The 16th, September 16th.
Yep.
Yes.
My man, Uncle Luke, man, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club.